Shortly after the release of an audio recording this past Saturday morning of a conversation that allegedly included
the WNBA's awful refereeing has sparked constant criticism. Much of it gets dismissed as simple incompetence, but the reality runs far deeper. A recently exposed audio file reveals the WNBA might be corrupted from its highest levels. We're discussing direct manipulation and meddling straight from the commissioner's headquarters. This exposes exactly why Caitlin Clark faces targeting match after match. An official internal probe has even launched confirming everything. But might this explain why the organization remains quiet, while Caitlin Clark endures continuous harassment? Let's dive deeper. The recording indicates a group of referees receiving hidden payments from Kathy Engelbert. Corruption and illegal payments were connected directly to Engelbert, the highest authority. Evidence shows consulting payments and unreported travel reimbursements following extremely disputed matches. The concealed plan involves granting specific athletes preferential status while ignoring everyone else. This might become the largest controversy the WNBA has encountered, particularly because recent matches raised serious concerns about officiating, specifically involving one Caitlin Clark. Numerous instances appear backing this claim, but nothing compares to the closing 2 seconds of the Fever against Liberty match. Action restarted following a strategic Fever timeout, hoping for a miraculous finish. Seemed achievable. Sophie Cunningham threw an inbound pass directly to Caitlin Clark, who attempted positioning herself for the attempt right before getting violently stripped of possession. Despite clear physical contact, no whistle sounded.
Screening action down low. Clark has to get open. 1 second left. Clark doesn't get the shot off. Cloud locks her up. And New York comes into Indianapolis and takes the checkered flag.
The official completely ignored Clark and the whole Fever's protests despite that single play being critically important to the result. The Liberty secured an 88-80 victory. During situations like this, it becomes difficult not questioning if the result was predetermined before the game concluded. When clear violations get overlooked in critical matches, it doesn't merely seem unjust, it appears deliberately planned. The decisions couldn't even get blamed on honest mistakes. Their pattern is becoming extremely obvious and exhausting for typical Caitlin Clark fans. These dirty tactics against Clark began immediately during her first professional season. She's constantly faced brutal fouls and blatant violations. During playoff Game 2, the Fever's campaign concluded following an 81-87 defeat against the Connecticut Sun. But what captured attention was how that game got officiated. Just past 3 minutes into the opening period, Clark launched a long-range three only to get knocked off balance by Dijonai Carrington's aggressive defense. She stared directly at the officials, anticipating a call but received silence.
It's a rebound against Indiana, something Connecticut did very well in the first quarter of Game 1. Here's Clark, 3 to shoot. Gonna have to hoist from the logo, an air ball, and Clark wanted a foul. Felt like Bonner ran into her, but a shot clock violation.
During a difficult 88-103 defeat against the Seattle Storm, Caitlin Clark suffered continuous rough play that officials largely overlooked. Initially, Storm player Easy-Eye Magbeger disrupted Clark's balance with clear body collision while establishing a screen, yet the referees ignored it without calling anything. Or that instance when Caitlin Clark executed one of her incredible basket drives, but absorbed multiple hits before reaching there. The referee didn't even react slightly.
One-on-one, Sammy Whitcomb with 8 seconds left. Goes around to Gumake, drives baseline, and shot rejected by Izzy Magbeger. Second opportunity is up and in by Nalissa Smith.
The clear question becomes, why does it appear the WNBA is targeting the single athlete, actually rescuing the organization instead of safeguarding her? This represents her reward.
I don't know how fair that is, but what I will ask you is this. Clearly, her return has obviously generated additional eyeballs. I have no doubt that the ratings are going to show as much. How receptive do you believe the WNBA is going to, I'm not talking about the league, but the players within the league are going to be towards Caitlin Clark moving forward now that we've seen what her absence, what kind of impact her absence provides?
While Caitlin Clark continuously shatters audience numbers, it grows increasingly impossible ignoring the obvious problem. Because somehow, despite Caitlin Clark's influence being undeniable, it still appears the organization is desperately attempting highlighting somebody different. Throughout all the controversy and aggressive behavior Caitlin Clark has experienced, one athlete has remained completely protected. With each subsequent match and call, she's appearing increasingly like the organization's chosen one, none other than Las Vegas Aces player 22, Aya Wilson. Their most recent matchup, the Fever vs. Aces contest, the WNBA demonstrated perfectly how to manufacture an MVP. Wilson received 13 free throw attempts that contest, nearly matching the complete Fever squad's total. The situation was actually worse. Whenever the Fever gained momentum, it seemed the whistle appeared precisely when needed to interrupt them. The WNBA keeps desperately attempting creating a superstar image of Aya Wilson and forcing her upon supporters, but audiences recognize their champion, and it isn't Wilson. During a recent Connecticut Sun and Las Vegas Aces matchup, total television audience reached a pathetic 100,000 viewers. 100,000 viewers for a WNBA contest in 2025 showcasing the supposed top athlete in the organization should be legally criminal. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's minimum viewership this campaign sits at 580,000 viewers. It's absolutely obvious who drives interest for this organization, but the WNBA has decided where they're placing their support. Unfortunately, it isn't supporting Caitlin Clark's side. Things escalated so badly that even coach Stephanie White couldn't remain quiet. Throughout her post-match press conferences, she's been publicly criticizing the behavior.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable.
Supporters might not always be professionals, but frequently they're accurate with their suspicions, and they recognize when something appears suspicious. The latest theory involves financial motivations. Consider this. What are methods for profiting from athletics? Gambling. It's entirely plausible that certain referees are manipulating games for betting profits. Currently, even the smallest details, one violation, one ignored call, can generate substantial money within sports gambling. The differences are narrow, but the earnings aren't. This isn't the initial instance a basketball official got involved in betting on contests he refereed. The previous referee caught in a gambling controversy was NBA official Tim Donaghy. He received 15 months imprisonment after exploiting his privileged position to provide betting information, numerous ones on matches he actually officiated. Donaghy insisted he never manipulated results, but his accomplices described something different. Most of their wagers were made on games he refereed, and they won frequently. Now consider if it occurred in the NBA, what prevents it from occurring in the WNBA, particularly now with increased attention, increased revenue, and increased expectations than before? The reality is when supporters and athletes lose confidence in referees, the organization starts losing legitimacy. For an organization like the WNBA, which is barely reaching mainstream attention, it could prove extremely damaging, especially for WNBA Commissioner Engelbert. Numerous transactions have been connected to her identity. The officials involved have also participated in some of the most disputed non-calls recently.
Clark hustling away.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it.
Assuming every accusation against Engelbert is untrue, you must question why she hasn't publicly defended herself yet? Why hasn't she addressed the media? If the WNBA's leadership cannot be believed, then that indicates serious problems for the organization and its standing. Some supporters have already begun pushing a campaign demanding Engelbert's removal. The more situations like this continue, the stronger that movement will become. For the sport's sake, we hope everything was merely false speculation or could get dismissed as incompetent officiating. But these issues now exceed just some incorrect decisions. This is absolutely something larger. Whatever actions the WNBA intends taking to resolve this expanding problem need to occur immediately, because time is running out. The final thing they need is losing confidence from their largest financial supporters. Sponsors dislike instability, And they absolutely don't want association with an organization whose management faces accusations severe enough to trigger a government inquiry, particularly not an organization that promotes itself as a supporter for women's advancement. Several people think that Adam Silver and the NBA should assume control of the WNBA's management and guide the organization toward success. It might seem like an extreme choice, but you can't help questioning maybe that's precisely what the organization requires. With that change, the referees would finally face consequences. The management would receive a critically needed transformation, and the supporters, well, they'd finally begin feeling like their opinions actually count, because at this stage, something must change and quickly. So let's be completely honest. You've got supporters enraged, refs making game-altering decisions or failing to make them, while one athlete appears continuously receiving every favorable whistle. You've got exposed recordings, official investigations, and a commissioner who thus far has remained entirely silent while the internet explodes. Hanging over everything, an organization attempting to expand, attempting to establish itself while navigating a precarious boundary between authenticity and corruption. This isn't merely about Caitlin Clark or Aya Wilson or one overlooked violation. It's about confidence in the officials, the management, and in the competition itself. If the WNBA doesn't respond immediately, then it's not merely fan loyalty that might disappear. It's the sponsors, athletes, and the organization's entire future. Because you can promote empowerment endlessly, but if the competition doesn't appear legitimate, audiences won't watch, athletes won't compete, and the organization won't survive. So now the question becomes straightforward. Will the WNBA reform completely or collapse under its own secrecy? Keep watching, because this is nowhere near finished. Remember to like and subscribe for additional updates.